Trouble Garage. Today I'm going to be working on, once again, this 2006 Lincoln Town Car, and today I'm going to be doing a power steering pump. So I'm going to get right to it. I'm pretty anxious to get this thing changed because of the problems I've been having with it ever since I've had the car. It was just a cheap car I bought, and I've been fixing up on it ever since. So it's just not, it's not steering like it should be. It's almost like I have no power steering at all. But doesn't matter if I rev the engine up. And pretty much a tell sign to me is I don't hear that normal forward whine that I normally hear for a power steering pump. You know how Fords just whine all the time when you turn it, wah, wah. I don't hear anything, so I don't think it's doing nothing. So I've got a used power steering pump from a junkyard, and don't want to spend too much money, you know how it is. And I'm going to be putting it on, and I should have all the tools. I have everything except for the transmission fluid, which I'm going to have to go get. That's something I'm going to have to go do, and I'm putting the cart before the horse and in doing this before I get it. But I'm anxious to get it done. I've been waiting for a while, so been putting it off. So here goes. I'm gonna get this thing jacked up. I've already got it up underneath the front axle and the cross member frame there. And get it jacked up and get the jack stands underneath it. You know, us people that are a little bit bigger than most, I got to get this thing up high off the ground where I got some wiggle room. Alright, I've got the car all jacked up and it's secure. I've got 4 jack stands underneath it. I'm not wanting to get crushed. I'm too close to retirement for that. So anyway, I'm going to get underneath it. I normally leave the jack stand in place. I mean the jack. It's just extra protection unless I really have to move it. I'm going to get underneath there and scope it out and see what I got going on. I've never been underneath this car before. Alright, I have it all jacked up. And here are my jack stands. I have this one holding it up, and I have that one there just for safety. Same thing on the other side. Just want to let you know that I'm safe. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to start with, I need to get the belt off. There's the idler pulley right down there. I need to take the tension off and just pull the belt from around that. I don't need to take the whole belt off. And I'm going to be sucking the fluid out of here. And yeah, I said sucking. I'm not going to take the line off and do all that. And you'll be seeing how I do that in 1 second. Alright, I got my trusty transmission funnel that goes all the way down in there. See? Bottoms out, down in there. And I'm going to get the old shop vac here, the old wet and dry. I already got it set up for wet use. I got the filter out of it. And I'm going to turn this on. And I'm going to put this down inside of here, and I'm going to suck all that fluid out of there. And it's going to be here. Put in just like that. and it's going to work slick as snot. You watch. I want to always leave my creeper down here to where if I don't want to walk, I could just take a ride on it. That's not a good idea. All right, let's look down inside of here. Oh, look at that. Clean as a pin in there. Nice. Okay, so we are rest assured that that is empty. Now we got to move on to that tensioner. All right. Well, I got my ratchet here, and I very seriously doubt I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but I'm going to show you. See, if you just pull the tension off like that, you should be able to grab. The easiest to grab is this alternator belt, and then let it all the way back. Now the tension is off the belt. And you just take that right off of the power pump pulley. And if you're doing this for the first time, remember where your belts go, and you'll be all right. Just move that one out of the way. You don't need to take the whole kit and caboodle off. Anyway, now ready to move to the bottom. All right. Yeah, here we have a view of the bottom. I need to get my drop light down here, but for right now I'm going to show you this way. There's the pump. Pump is right there. And right here is a big oil leak that I just found out I got. Didn't even know it was leaking oil. But what I found out, if you see the drip over there on my oil filter, my oil filter was loose. I turned it about a turn and a half just by hand and tightened it up. I probably should have waited because I might have to take it off to give me more room for this pump. We'll see. But you always want to look when you have an oil leak at your highest point. I thought it was the oil sending unit that was leaking, but above the oil sending unit it's all dirty too, and I saw that drip, so now I know where it's coming from. So you do always go to your highest point, and that's where your leak is at, because gravity is going to make it go down and back as the wind blows it. So anyway, now that that's all said, I'm going to have to take off this. I'm going to take off that jam nut. I don't know if that's a jam nut or not, but I'm going to have to take that fitting off. That's going to be the hard one, but I got a claw foot that I think can make that work. This one here, when I go to take that off, I'm going to have a drain pan underneath it because there's still oil in the line. And then I'll take off them 3 bolts. Looks like I have, yeah, 4. Got 4 bolts to take off. I think they're 10 millimeter. So I'll get the drop light underneath there and get to cracking. Well, I thought that I was gonna be smarter than the average bear, and here's what I was thinking. Thought I might be able to, there we go, get a better light on this. So thought I might be able to get this line here and just take this whole line off with the pump. Just that way I'm just taking this line off
which is really easy. And then the pressure line, I was thinking, well, I'll just take the line off. So I started following this line, and this line goes and goes and goes, and it goes onto a pressure fitting down there, and then it keeps going, and it ties over to another line. It just keeps going and going, and doesn't have no end in sight. It comes around, loops around where that little sending unit is, and then it comes back and it goes over to here and it goes out of sight. Let's put it that way. So it's not really an option. This is gonna have to be taken off right there. So the arsenal I have to work with right now is right down here. That's what I've got, and I can go drag some more out of the toolbox if I have to, but that's what I'm fixing to tackle. I'm gonna first, I think, why not go for the hardest part and take off that pressure line. That'll have the least fluid droppage, and I don't have my drain pan yet anyway, so I'm gonna try for that. Well, I got through horsing around with that thing. Apparently, the camera will focus here. Apparently, I need a 18 claw foot like that, but I don't have one. This set didn't come with an 18, 17, and 19 Harbor Freight stuff, and I don't really feel like altering my other snap-on clawfoots I have, because they're a line wrench type, and they won't go on slide on it. So I've done the right thing, and I got my what you call it, the puller on it anyway, whatever, power steering pump, puller, and I'm getting ready to pull that sucker off of there, and then I'll have plenty of room, and I can get an 18 millimeter in there, get it off, and get this job over with. Well, the puller was not cooperating with me. I got this going into a drain pan here. So here's what the plan is now. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for broke. Probably should go up to the auto parts store and get me some hose clamps, because what I heard, I watched it on another YouTube channel about putting some hose clamps around the power steering pump puller, and because what it's doing is trying to slip off, which that would probably work, and if I had some of the right size hose clamps I would try it, but I don't. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that the power steering pump off, and I'm gonna drop it, because this line is pretty flexible here. This line will move all over the place. So I'm gonna move that power steering pump out of the way, and then I'll be able to get a wrench on it and take that thing right off. That line shouldn't be no problem at all, and that's what I'm hoping for. The only thing will be is that little bolt. I don't know if I can get a shot of it, but there it is. Fat finger over the. Okay, we'll get up there to it somewhere. All right. I think maybe you can see it behind the line is a 10 millimeter bolt. That one's gonna be rough to see. So Take the camera off. Nice glob of transmission fluid on it. On my phone. Anyway, that's what I think I'm going to try. That's what I think I'm going to try, and we'll see how it goes. Right, the power steering pump is out. Still hanging here. Still got the one line to get off, but I'm gonna be able to do that now. I got plenty of room to get to it. I'm gonna go get an 18mm wrench and I'll get on it. All I did with this one last bolt right here, I got a gear wrench on it, and I made this my last bolt to come out, and as it come out, then the power steering pump come out and give me the room I needed to work, and that was it. So I'm just gonna have to be sure, put that bolt in there before I put the line on the new one, or the replacement one, and put it back in there. So I will do that. I need to get the same orientation right here, but that shouldn't be too hard. This line swivels like all get out anyway. See, I don't know why that rust is all coming out of that pulley, but see, that line swivels, so I should be able to take that out no problem. Well, the hardest part about it was breaking that nut loose. And I'll see if I can show you here, because that's what this is all about, showing people what I did, and maybe they can learn from it. I put my adjustable wrench in behind the pulley here, and then I was able to get my what was that, 18mm. I was able to get that 18mm up on here, and it was direct opposite pressure that I was putting on it, and I was able to go ahead and get it loose. And now that's what I'm using, because it's kind of resisting every step of the way. Not really bad, but I can't hold the pump and turn it, so that's what I'm doing right now. Just grabbing that wrench right here, putting it up on that jam nut, and taking it out. And then I'm gonna do reverse order to install the new one. The new one already has a pulley on it. It, like I said before, it's a junkyard one, so there, finally cleared up. But that's the procedure, and it's working. I'm getting it off. So if you don't have a pulley puller, power steering pulley puller, I've had a hard time saying, then that's the way you can do it. The new replacement, donor, whatever you want to call it, power steering pump is up there in place. It's only held on by a few threads right now. I'm getting ready to get my my other bolts in and just get them started, just hand started, hand tightened in there, and then I'm gonna get my gear wrench, and I'm gonna run that one that you see right there. Hopefully, yeah, I see it. I'm gonna run it on in all the way, tighten it up with that one, and then I'll tighten up my other bolts, put that top hose on, and I'm done, except for getting the transmission fluid and putting the belt on. So that's what I've got so far. Seems to be a pretty easy process. If I would have done this first instead of wasted time trying to take that pulley off, then I'd have had this done already. Well, the pump is on. It's all installed. Line's on. All the bolts are tightened up. Some better light here on the situation. I'm gonna see if I have some brake cleaner, something to spray on this. I don't like leaving all this all messy down here. It was already that way when I started, but I don't want to leave it that way. But anyway, it's all on. It wasn't too bad of a job. If you're doing this job, you might want to make sure you go ahead and snug that one bolt up there behind the line. Snug that bolt up pretty good before you put the other ones in and get them started, because by doing that, it draws that pump up so tight that you can't get your gear wrench in there. You got to do the little open-end wrench thing on it for quite a while until you get it down far enough to where you can sneak that gear wrench, head of the gear wrench in. So you might want to go ahead and snug that up first. Just, you know, it's exactly in reverse order of the way you took it out, because that's the last bolt that you take out. You have the other ones out already. So all I have to do now is spray this down, put the belt back on, and fill that up with ATF, and this job will be done, and we can once again enjoy some nice power steering. The belt's on now. These belts are so easy to go back on the town car. Just make sure you have the belt around every pulley except for the alternator. The alternator is going to be right on top, easy to get to. Just lay the belt right underneath it, and then get your ratchet and put it on, or breaker bar, whatever you have, and put it on there on the tensioner. Put it as far over as you can get it. Pull it over, and then you can get your other hand and just boop, put the belt right on top, and then just slowly let the tension off. Make sure it's lined up all the way around. Make sure it's lined up on all the pulleys, and it's very simple. It's very simple to do. So all I have to do now is fill that reservoir up with ATF, and I have to look in the manual still and find out what kind of ATF goes in there. But as soon as I find that out, head into the auto parts store and get it. I have the transmission fluid. Mercon 5 is what Ford recommends you put in here, and I really hate the term, but I'm going to use it now anyway. They're really proud of this stuff. It's expensive. Anyway, I wish they used regular power steering fluid instead of this stuff. Let me see if I can get it all over the place. Yeah. Trying to do this left-handed. That stuff don't smell too good either. Well, that's full. Let me run it a little bit here and see where it levels out at. Close this up. Be my luck, this thing would fall over and make a bigger mess than I just did. Something I didn't see before is circulation. Alright, I'm going to turn the wheel back and forth. It's still off the ground, so it's going to be easy to turn anyway. I can hear the power steering pump now. Couldn't hear it before. Alright. I can see the fluid is still up at the max, but there is air in it. So I'm gonna have to keep running it until I get that air out, and then it'll find its true level then, and I'll add some more. But until that time, I'll let this thing down off the jacks, let it run and get warmed up. And then we'll take it out for the real test. Well, the town car is down off its jacks. I've got the power steering full. It's power steering pump is still not whining like I normally hear Fords do. And the steering is still kind of stiff, so I'm not real happy with the outcome. Not real happy with it at all. But I notice that I've looked at the steering arm right there, and I see the top part of it, the top U-joint up there has not been replaced. I looked at it before and I said, oh well, that thing's all right. It's like brand new. It's been replaced before, but that shaft has only been replaced. The top part has not, and I'm wondering now if that part could be freezing up on me. I've sprayed it down with some WD-40 and some blaster. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference. So my next thing will be to take that bolt loose right there, and I'm going to turn that U-joint around a few times and see if it's freezing up. If it's freezing up, that might be my problem. I also went so far as I went in the inside here, and if you go in the inside, there's a bearing up in here, and I lubricated that bearing from the inside here like crazy, and that didn't seem to make the difference either. Even with it jacked up off the ground, there was not that big a difference in it, and the steering wheel did not. You should be able to turn that thing around with one finger, and it wasn't doing that. So I'm not real happy about it. But I got a new power steering pump, new to me. The car only had 90,000 miles on it, and this one here has like 207. So I'll keep tinkering with it, but that is the power steering pump install. And there it is down there doing this business. And we'll keep going on it. Until next time, thanks for tuning into my channel. Thanks for looking. Please subscribe to Double Trouble Garage. And like the video if you liked it. And I'll keep producing as good a content as I can. Thank you.